Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. The problem with Zende's rant about how he feels like he's getting passed over, he feels that, RJ isn't deserving of the opportunity that he's getting, and he felt that Zende feels that he's worked harder, he's earned his stripes, but yet he's getting passed over. But the thing is, this isn't RJ's fault, right? Like, this is on Ridge, and this is on Brooke, and this is on Eric. He talks about how, well, he doesn't have his family out here. Well, that's a Zende problem. Like he said, his parents own the building. They own the company. So if you're going to sit there and get upset with someone, you need to really sit there and take it out with Ridge, not so much with RJ, you know? So this whole scene This whole scene of Zende just pretty much acting like a dick, making both of them feel uncomfortable, is really unnecessary when you stop to think about it. I'm like, okay, so you want to sit there and pick a fight with RJ because you don't have the balls to sit there and really stand up for yourself when it comes towards Ridge. You talked to Ridge, he said no, take it out with Ridge. Hell, take it out with Eric at this point. But coming at RJ, it's so petty, right? Like, don't get me wrong. Part of me kind of enjoys the fact that Zende is actually having a backbone. They're actually giving him some spunk, some attitude, and I appreciate that. But it's kind of wasted when you really stop to think about it. And there's another thing that's just so, I guess, kind of uncomfortable a little bit watching is that you can see in a sense that Zende is bullying RJ. He's being very passive aggressive. And his girl just went there watching at the side. And it's kind of an embarrassing situation when you're letting somebody sit there and punk you in front of your girl. Now, towards the end, RJ's like, listen, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. You feel like you're getting passed over. You feel like you're getting overlooked. And I just started. Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying. But we're family. We should be working together. I was like, that's not exactly the solution. I mean, I guess one can sit there and look at this, and granted, he doesn't have to do this, but one can sit there and look at this and be like, listen, RJ, if you really want to sit there and kind of solve this whole thing, which I'm not saying he should, but if he really wants to solve this whole thing and keep the peace, maybe he should sit there and talk to his dad and be like, you know what, listen, he is getting passed over. I just got here. He's been working on this stuff. He's been a designer way longer than me. I think that he should actually have this opportunity. He deserves this more than I do, you know? And I can see his point of me being favored because I'm your son. That's what I can sit there and say was the solution that he should sit there and look into. Because I'm just not just saying we're family, we got to get along, and this, that, and the third isn't really doing anything, And on some level, he has to sit there and think, maybe he's right. Maybe he's actually right. But he knows he knows he's in a position that he didn't really earn. But he's just like, well, I'm already here, so it is what it is. But then you're wondering why he's coming at you sideways. Now Ridge tells Stephie and Finn that, about the proposal that Thomas gave to Hope. And Stephie, listen, when this woman has those looks on her face, those annoyed looks on her face, it is priceless. So she's upset about this whole thing. She's worried about Hope. She's worried about Thomas. And if Hope says no, and what that's going to do to him. Finn is worried about Hope. And Ridge is like, y'all two are being a bunch of negative Nancy's. You need to sit there and stop, he tells Finn, you need to sit there and just let go of the past. And he tells them both, listen, if they want to sit there and try to make it work, they can do it. Look at me and Brooke. We made it work against all the odds. They can do that too. You know, you basically sitting there telling them to have a little positivity and a little bit of faith, you know, that everything's going to work out. So it's like you have three people in a room, three different emotions, and it's just awkward, you know? And they all believe, and you know, the thing that's really interesting is that Finn, for the most part, did sit there and say he was going to try to drop his vendetta. So I'm surprised he actually came up and was like, well, you know, I'm more worried about Hope because you know what kind of person that Thomas used to be. Bro, didn't you just sit there and say you was gonna drop it when your wife told you to? Because apparently you just gave up your balls. Why are you trying to reach for him back? Meanwhile, that's going on. You got Thomas and Hope having their loving in the afternoon, and she said more than once that she just can't get enough of him. So much so that she totally overlooked. And I know I'm just saying the same things over and over again, but she totally overlooks the fact that Thomas drove Emma off the road. Yes, he didn't sit there and try to actively kill her. He didn't push her car over the edge, but he did sit there and say that he was driving to catch up to her. So, on some level, she knows that because of what he did, it caused her accident. But because she needs to sit there and get her rocks off, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna sit there and just happened in the past. You're a good man, and you didn't sit there and kill her. You know, part of it just kind of tickles me because even like in the live stream, sometimes I have some new people that come in and be like, "Well, Thomas didn't kill Emma," and I'm just like, "Listen, I welcome all different opinions, and I don't sit there and try to slam them or attack them for having a different opinions because I love something hearing it, and I can always sit there and learn something from it." And with that being said, from my point of view, there's this thing called cause and effect, right? Something happens and it causes something else to happen, right? And I know people could sit there and say, well, Emma wasn't there, she wasn't keeping her eyes on the road, she kept sitting there texting, she kept sitting there trying to find her phone, right? All very true, and that contributed to her death, right? But again, cause and effect. Why was she so frantic to sit there and try to find her phone in the first place? Why was she sitting there driving so erratically in the first place? Why was she so? Because she kept sitting there looking behind her. Because she kept sitting there seeing Thomas come after her. Cause and effect. This is why I always sit there and go back to if I was chasing someone and I was running after them and they ran to the street and they got hit by a car, did I push them into the car? No. But did I contribute to their death or their injuries? Yes. That's why I sit there and say cause and effect. And for Hope is just, hey, you know what, listen, he's giving me that good loving in the afternoon. I could just let murder slide. Well, I can let the cause of him getting someone else killed slide because well, I mean, clearly I gotta get that love in the afternoon. I mean, like I said, she said more than once, I can't get enough of you. The same. I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't think of anything else. But and I probably forgot some stuff. And I want to sit there and talk about all the stuff on B&B, including Deacon and Sheila. What's going on with them? There's a lot to sit there and talk about tonight. I'm going to be live streaming for an hour and a half, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We had a lot of fun yesterday. Was a really good turnout. A lot of people came in, talked about GH and days and stuff like that. And I want to hear from the B&B people as well. I want to hear from the B&B people as well. I know there's a lot of times I'll sit there and put out a title of General Hospital. One, it was probably the most interesting soap opera today. But two, a lot of people come in that are General Hospital fans. But I know there are B&B fans as well. So I would love to actually have a conversation talking about the Bold and the Beautiful as well. some stuff may want to sit there and know, learn, we can sit there and talk about it. So I really do encourage the B&B fans to come through tonight as well. Because I always sit there and I always go where the conversation goes. And if there's more Days of Our Lives fans, we'll sit there and talk about Days of Our Lives. There's more B&B fans, we'll talk about more about B&B, regardless of what the title is and the title. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I'll see you in the next video.